quick commentary instead of my usual. So I just watched episode 1 of the series season 11 of Doctor Who, and this is the first of the female Doctor in her role. And so I'm watching this, and I've never been a huge fan of Doctor Who because I was kind of brought into it late in the game, and yeah, so my whole interpretation of Doctor Who was weird sci-fi movie, not unlike, a few other not movie, but sci-fi show, not unlike, there's that other one where they traveled around in a bug. Anyways, big deal. So I was watching this and I'm like, I don't understand why a million trillion nerds got so mad that, the Doctor had become a woman, that she suddenly grew a set of breasts and has an innie, not an outie. I mean, I'm like, fuck, really? The dialogue's the same, the jokes are the same, everything's the same. It's just that there's no now a transition from male to female. Woo, my God. And all these nerds have like lost their fucking minds. And I'm like, how? Why? Who cares? Like the writing isn't changing because it's a female, so the writing is the same. The jokes are just as bad as they were before. And yeah, like all this freaking out for nothing. Now, let's maybe, skim ahead, 6 episodes. Maybe somewhere in there there's, some female issues that happen, but I mean otherwise like the dialogue is exactly the same. So why is it so heartbreaking that it's now staring at a guy, not a girl, or sorry, reverse that. Staring at a girl, not a guy, and I'm like I haven't seen anything different. Like I watched enough Doctor Who of the old people to recognize that the jokes are the same. Like I've said like 4 times, everything, the dialogue is exactly the same, just that it comes out of a woman's voice or mouth instead of a man's mouth. And yeah, so I don't understand. The fun thing, fact is, here's the fun fact of Doctor Who now being a woman, is it was alleged in Doctor Who at the very end of the program that Doctor Who has been a female in the past because Doctor Who literally says, I haven't had to buy women's clothing for quite some time. Now, chalk it up to whatever the fuck you want to chalk it up to in terms of things. But, yeah, like, So here's the fun fact. At least Doctor Who is following the protocol of balance. Now, maybe it's 25 years later that balance is being achieved, but if you look at Tibetan Buddhism, the Dalai Lama has never been a woman. Now, Tibetan Buddhism teaches reincarnation, teaches balance, teaches all these things, and yet, the Dalai Lama has never become a woman. The current Dalai Lama, according to much of the internet, and it's losing its mind, has also made some really rather chauvinistic, misogynistic remarks about being a female Dalai Lama, which is funny because you have monks like Pema Chodron, and there's a couple other monks that were female that got famous, and they weren't necessarily by standards pretty. So I don't see why the Dalai Lama has to say that he has to be really attractive as a woman in order to be effective, because that is literally misogynistic bullshit. But he does come from China. It is a very, very male-oriented society. Misogyny is normal, so it is what it is. But at least the Doctor Who is following with the idea that, balance happens in the universe and there's male and there's female. And if you're going to reincarnate, you might as well finally become a female doctor. To all the nerds out there, please hate on this post because fuck, like seriously, like Doctor Who as a woman was like, what? How hard was this transition for all of you out there? Like, really? Oh, boo-hoo, I had my favorite doctor. Well, boo-hoo, your doctor's fucking changed every 2 years anyway, so, like, who cares? Yeah, I knew enough about doctor changeovers. That's as much as the Doctor Who. And of course, I watched that famous episode of the Angels that, like, showed up right behind you and all that. So I've seen a few programs with it. I think I watched maybe 6 or 7. But anyways, the Scottish dude, the silver-haired dude that was the most recent, and on and on and on. I think you're all going to get over it, but I don't think you should have had the freak out in the first place, because Jesus, nothing changed.